So, liebe Freunde, für die letzten 17% meiner Kamera möchte ich auf jeden Fall nochmal das Gespräch führen mit Emil Esov, der hier ist extra jetzt für dieses Spiel. Er ist der Game Director von Scars Above, einer völlig neuen IP, die hier auf uns zukommt. Und ich werde ihm ein paar Fragen stellen, die ich den beiden Developern noch nicht gestellt habe. Emil, it's nice to have you here on our show. Very nice to meet you on Pixelwarte. It's a fresh take on a new environment, on the science fiction. It is not horror, but mysterious. I don't know how to call it. What is your take on that game? Why you are proud of being a game director for Scars Above?
Scars Above is a game about science, right? And it's not like a typical action game. It's more like in the line of your science fiction archetypical stories, right? Like the lone astronaut on an alien planet, and it kind of goes from there. But we didn't want to make like a classic action game where you're like a guns blazing type of commando. We wanted our protagonist to be a real person, and she's an astronaut, also a scientist, and then it's kind of a fresh spin to like already a classical story, right?
Nice. What was where can I found some hooks to grab to traditional stories that I might even know? Where comes the source for that? If there's any source, because it feels very new actually.
We take inspiration from a lot of material, like from video games, from films. Like for example, visually people say it reminds them of Oblivion, if you know, with Tom Cruise, or maybe Alien in some way.
Prometheus,
Prometheus, yeah. So it's kind of like when we started making the game, we had a tagline that says Alice in Wonderland meets Alien. Right?
Wow.
It's kind of
awesome.
In that, so we started from there basically.
Awesome pitch. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. So she will be thrown on herself and psychological matters. Which kind of psychological matters which is what we're going to touch?
Okay, basically the Kate is alone in that world, like a new hostile environment, and then she needs to kind of find her crew members, right? And it's all about facing the fear with science, basically, with knowledge. So it's kind of knowledge in the face of adversity, right? So she will need to overcome a lot of various challenges, hostile creatures, hostile environments, and then she kind of uncovers the whole story around that planet, because it's not some random planet. There is a reason why they're there, the reason for all of the monsters, the reason for the alien architecture that she's going to find, without spoiling anything.
Yeah, I understand. No, I know already where this is heading, and it makes me really totally interested in it. How does she travel?
How does she travel?
Yeah.
She travels only by foot.
Wow.
Right? And in the later stages of the game, there is a kind of twist. So without spoiling it, she can move around the planet in some way, but it's not like on foot, right?
Wow. Because I think this is a hard, long way to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, she has she needs ammunition. So she crafts her ammunition from the environment?
Yeah, basically everything she does, she uses her knowledge. So she crafts, she scans the flora, fauna, some plants, some minerals, and then she figures out how to craft stuff from that.
Clever.
Not only ammunition, but devices, weapons even.
There's like a life cycle that she dies also when she doesn't eat?
Yeah, she dies a lot, basically, and she gets reconstructed as sort of like an experiment control variable, basically. Like you have always one variable in an experiment, which you use to compare everything else to, right? And she's kind of like that.
What is your background?
My personal background.
Where do you come from, developing as a game director?
I'm an architect by vocation.
Wow.
I used to do architectural projects, and then but making games was like my lifelong dream. If you asked me when I was like 6 years old what I want to do with my first Commodore 64, I was going to tell you, okay, I want to make games, but I didn't know how to make them, right? So it kind of fell off that dream. But after I finished my studies in architecture, I discovered that designing worlds is something that I want to really to do, and I kind of fell into it by accident. I started as a 3D artist, then I did game design, I did a lot of things in our studio because we were at the time a very small studio, and then I learned everything. So I started leading projects. I was a lead designer on a previous game, and then now I'm one of the game directors on Scars Above.
Who wrote that story?
The story was mainly written by my colleague, Ivan Zorkic.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where do you come from?
from Serbia.
From Serbia?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. Wow, wow, wow. Different take on this country, yeah? Because there's not so much
Yeah.
well known from Serbia coming as a game.
Yeah. Game development in Serbia is like in early stages. There are a couple of studios. There are some big names, like Ubisoft, for example, has their offices in Serbia. But the scene there is quite new, basically.
Yeah. It's like in Israel. It's tough to find developers in Israel for
Yes,
gaming because
it's
gaming,
also tough in Serbia.
Yeah, I guess so. It's so nice to have you. Wow, it's wonderful. So,
Thank you.
from the culture that you bring into this game, what might be like some parallels that you can talk about?
Well, since we're not really developing for our own small market, right? We want to hit it big, so it's kind of not like you won't find any like exclusively cultural things in our game especially because Kate is an astronaut, right? And you know, in some movies when you send a team of astronauts in space, it's usually one of each from the big countries, right? Because it's like a collaboration there, and it's similar in our game, right?
That's what I wanted to know. You know, if there's some kind of references that also you wanted to plant, because sometimes subconsciously there comes things that comes with the character and the way she will talk. I don't know. Would she communicate?
Yeah, she communicates. She's kind of. I mean, she's an astronaut, and when she communicates with her crew members, it's like almost on a familiar level, because they're like friends and family, right? Like colleagues. Some of them are not like so close to her, but she still holds them in high regard because like they're crew members and they're judged, not judged, but they're together in that, right?
Okay.
So they only have each other. Right?
Okay, cool. So, and there will be also there's like different outcomes of that game. This is a straightforward story to be told.
It's a pretty linear story, and we wanted it to have that kind of feel that it's kind of not open-ended. Like it's not open to speculation. Like there is a narrative that happens, and you uncover the truth. What is happening? There is some sort of kind of in the end. Hoping for more, maybe, but there is a story conclusion, right? Like it's not something that a player can create custom for themselves. It's Kate's story, basically.
For how long this play is going to last? How many hours?
Depending on how good you are, basically, but it's around 10 to 15 hours.
Okay.
We've seen people who played it even more, but we also seen people who played it less.
Okay.
So if you're a good gamer, highly skilled, then you maybe even on hard difficulty, you will have an easy time. I don't know, but the game is pretty hard. Like it's not really your casual game, right?
Okay, that's fine to know because I think to explore this environment, I'm really excited to explore it because it feels like a new take on new environments with new physics and new stuff that I didn't have seen before. Thank you so much for having you here.
Thank you.
I could talk more about it, but I don't want to spoil because I really realized already we're going to the spoiler area.
Yeah, a bit.
And liebe Freunde, guckt es euch an, es wird sicherlich sehr spannend. Wir haben hier Emil Esov gehabt, der Game Director von Gespräche und ich freue mich sehr, dieses Gespräch mit dir geführt zu haben. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you.
And it's available. When it's going to be available?
Early next year.
Early next year.
Ja.
Also 2023 Scars Above, ein neues Environment, eine neue Welt für euch, um sie zu explorieren. Bis dann, macht's gut. Ciao.
Ciao.